Hey guys, my name is John Graham. I'm writer-director on Arby and the Chief, and due to somewhat popular demand, you're watching a behind-the-scenes video outlining the creation of an episode from start to finish. The process naturally starts with brainstorming. This is done on something called paper, which people used to write on before God made laptops. This keeps me focused, whereas on my laptop I could be too distracted by the internet and piss away hours on YouTube or You're the Man Now Dog or something. Especially at this stage when I've got nothing to work with, I'm creating something from nothing. It requires a deeper level of focus than already having stuff written and building on top of it and tweaking it. I write fragmented ideas in point form and in no particular order, just whatever comes to mind first, whether they're cool visual moments, bits of dialogue, gags, whatever. Listening to music sometimes helps while I'm doing this, sometimes it doesn't. To this day, I'm still trying to understand how exactly my brain works. It's a never-ending process. It depends on how I'm feeling. Music that has a beat to it is usually too distracting. I'll typically only play ambient or orchestral music, stuff that's a little easier on the ears. If not that, then I'll just play a 20-minute loop of rain falling that I have on my BlackBerry, which might sound kind of weird, but white noise has a soothing effect on the brain, whether it's rainfall or the hum of an air conditioner or whatever. Once I feel that I have enough ideas written down, I'll get on my laptop and type them all out again in this really cool software called FreeMind. It's free, open source, and for PC and Mac, so if you're interested in getting it for yourself, you can just Google FreeMind and grab a copy. What it does is it lets you create a digital mind map. You start with an idea bubble in the center of a canvas, and you can create an infinite number of branches of information that stem from it. These branches are blocks of text that can be however long or short you want. You can move them around wherever you want, place one or a bunch inside of another, and make trees of information. Color them, label them, place groups of them in bubbles or clouds, and open or collapse information trees whenever you want. I take all my fragmented ideas and shuffle them around, add some more, get rid of stuff that doesn't work, and then I'll organize them all into separate sequences, then separate scenes, and then separate episodes. I'll then comb through this information over and over, making sure the pacing is alright and the story logic makes sense. And once I feel I have enough content of an episode worked out in FreeMind, I'll carry that information over to another piece of software called Movie Outline. Unlike FreeMind, this one costs money, but for me the money was definitely worth it. Using my mind map, I'll enter in all the episode's major beats of action in the software's outline panel. I can shuffle them around, add more, take some away, color code them if I want. And once all the beats are established, I write a full sentence treatment of each one. For those that don't know, a treatment kind of reads like a short story, but it's not necessarily written in a way that's entertaining, rather it's much more clinical. All it's for is listing all the events in your story one after another, and it's written in the present tense. Writing these out helps me gain a much more solid idea of what I want, as well as what I'll need to make it happen. Once that's done, I'll head over to the software's characters panel. In this panel you can add characters and a window will appear, allowing you to fill in some basic information about that character: age, origin, occupation, character flaws, and so on. The window's other tabs get into much more detail, asking difficult questions about your characters, which force you to really think about them and dig into them. I don't always utilize this feature, but what I do utilize each time is the tab allowing me to enter in the character's goals in a particular scene, the obstacles in the way of that goal, their internal and external conflicts at that moment in time, and so on. This helps immensely when writing dialogue, because the more you know about your characters, the easier writing dialogue for them is going to be, and the more authentic that dialogue is going to be as well. Now it's time to write the script, which typically consists of two elements: dialogue and action. This probably isn't common practice, but what I like to do is write out all my dialogue first, and then I'll fill in the action between that dialogue afterwards. Dialogue writing and action writing involve separate sides of the brain, I believe, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because writing action is a very logical process. you know, this happens, then this happens, then this happens, whereas dialogue is very much affected by emotion and sometimes completely lacking of logic. When you're writing dialogue for characters, you can't just write down what you think those characters would say, because then it would probably turn out stale. To write dialogue, you have to do your best to put yourself into the mind of your characters and essentially become them. I've been doing this for years and I'm still trying to get the hang of it. It's very hard, especially since you have to jump back and forth between entirely different states of mind to simulate a real conversation between two characters. Once the dialogue's all written out, I'll comb through it over and over and tweak it so it sounds as authentic as I can get it. Some of you might think this is stupid and be wondering how I can write dialogue properly without the action there to support it, but thanks to all the outlining and treatment writing I've done, I already know the action. I'm playing it all out in my head as I'm writing the dialogue. When that's finished, I'll go back and fill in all the action in between. Also, when I write Master Chief's dialogue, I write it mostly proper. I don't write it in indecipherable leet speak. I mess it up later during the recording and editing. I'm kind of a grammar Nazi, and seeing mistakes in my script bugs the hell out of me, whether they're intentional or not. When the dialogue and action's written out, I'll export the script into Final Draft, where I'll do the last couple of revisions and tweaks. Writing the script's definitely the most crucial part of the whole thing. It's the central nervous system of the episode. It determines whether it's good or bad. If you're interested in film and would like to one day direct, I recommend getting good at this. Because if you can write a good script, there's a much higher chance that you'll one day get to direct something. I don't have personal Hollywood experience of this, but not only do I keep hearing the same thing, but it makes perfect sense to me, because if you can write a good script, you've already proven your knowledge when it comes to framing action and identifying dramatic beats. You've essentially already made the movie for whoever's reading it, because they play it in their head as they're reading it. When the script is finished, I use Final Draft's ability to print out character reports, which contain all the dialogue of one character, and I send the reports of the characters I need outside voiceover work for to my cast director, Matt, over at the machinima.com offices. Next is the shot and action breakdown, which is extremely fucking tedious. It involves opening a notepad document and writing down in point form every shot that I need. When it comes to live action, I divide the shots by fixed shots and motion shots. Motion shots involve me moving the figures as I'm holding the camera, and fixed shots are ones where I don't have to do any puppeteering and I can hold the camera wherever I want. When writing the machinima shots I need, I list every angle I need and every character movement that needs to be performed. It takes a long time, but it does save a lot of time when I'm acting the gameplay films out and capturing the footage, since I know exactly what I need to do. It also keeps the captured footage short, because there will be no need to dick around guessing what to do next. It also saves a lot of time in editing. I also make a list of all the synthetic speech from Master Chief and the Arbiter and divide it into chunks that I know will fit in Windows XP's text-to-speech preview field. I can't just copy and paste the dialogue from the script. I have to do a bunch of weird things to it, like remove all the commas and mess up the punctuation deliberately so the accents and pronunciations will come out the way I want it to. Like, for example, instead of a sentence ending with a period, I'll end it with a question mark, even though it's not a question, just to get the proper inflection at the end of the sentence. Next, I head to my computer, grab my shitty microphone, and record the dialogue for the characters I voice. I try and voice for as many characters as I think I can get away with without it being too noticeable. When it comes to the voices of Master Chief and the Arbiter, I boot up my laptop with XP on it. Windows XP and earlier has the proper Microsoft Sam and Mike voices. All later versions of Windows don't have it because they posed some kind of potential security problem. I have no idea how that works, but there you go. The speech from my list goes into the text-to-speech preview window, and then I start recording from my sound card with Audacity before I hit play.